Amara's scream ripped through the hostel night as Adaeze and a classroom full of pale, hollow-eyed figures turned their empty stares on her, beckoning her to join them. Welcome to Royal Beat Tales. If you are just seeing us for the first time, please subscribe, like, and comment for more unique stories. Amara was excited when she got admission into one of the biggest universities in Nigeria. Like many new students, she dreamed of freedom. No parents watching her every move, no chores, no curfews, just lectures, friends, and hostel life. The hostel was a noisy, crowded place. Students laughed in the corridors, pots of noodles boiled on small electric stoves, and music blasted from phones. Amara loved it. But 2 weeks into the semester, she was moved to another room. Her new roommate was a quiet girl called Adaeze. Adaeze was beautiful in a strange way. Her skin was pale, almost too pale for a girl living under Nigerian sun. She always wore long-sleeved clothes, even when it was hot. She hardly spoke, but when she did, her voice was soft and calm. That first night, Adaeze smiled at Amara and said, "Don't worry. I don't disturb people. I just like peace." Amara was relieved. Ah, thank God. Some hostel girls are too noisy. But as the days passed, Amara started noticing odd things. Adaeze never ate with the others. She would sit quietly while Amara cooked, but never touched food. She never went out for lectures during the day, only at night. And when she did, Amara never saw her walking with friends. Still, Amara thought maybe she was just shy. After all, hostel life had all kinds of people. At first, Amara tried not to mind her roommate's strange behavior. But one evening, after returning from a long day of lectures, she couldn't hold her curiosity anymore. She looked at Adaeze, who was quietly folding clothes. "Adaeze, I hardly see you in class." "Don't you attend lectures?" Adaeze smiled faintly without looking up. "Lectures are not for me." Amara frowned. "What do you mean by that?" "Then where do you go every night? Because I always see you leave when everybody else is asleep." Adaeze paused, her hands frozen on the wrapper she was folding. Slowly, she lifted her head and met Amara's eyes. For a moment, her face seemed too pale under the hostel bulb. "I go where it is quiet," she said softly. "The night understands me better than the day." Amara's stomach tightened. "But what do you do outside at that time?" Adaeze smiled again, this time wider, almost too wide. "I visit the ones who still remember me." Before Amara could ask what that meant, Adaeze turned away and climbed into her bed, pulling the covers over her head. The conversation was over. Amara lay awake for a long time, staring at the ceiling, her heart pounding with unease. The next morning, Amara told her closest friend, Kemi, about it. They were eating bread and akara in front of the hostel canteen. "Kemi, my roommate is strange. She doesn't eat, doesn't attend lectures, and every night she sneaks out. When I asked her where she goes, she said something about people remembering her at night." Kemi frowned, biting her lip. "What's her name again?" "Adaeze." The akara nearly dropped from Kemi's hand. "Amara, are you serious? Adaeze? Room 34? "Yes, why?" Kemi leaned closer, lowering her voice. "Don't you know the story? A girl named Adaeze died in that hostel last year. They found her in her bed, cold, with her eyes wide open. People said she never left the hostel at night because the hostel had already claimed her." Amara's spoon shook in her hand. "But Kemi, she's my roommate. I talk to her every day." Kemi's face turned pale. "Then you are not living with a roommate. You're living with a ghost." Amara laughed nervously. "Don't scare me, I beg. Maybe it's another Adaeze. That name is common." But deep inside, fear was already crawling up her chest. That night, Amara pretended to sleep. She lay quietly, her eyes half closed, waiting. Around midnight, she heard it, the soft creak of the door. Adaeze was leaving again. Amara slipped out of bed and followed, her bare feet silent against the cold cement floor. The hostel corridor was dim, only lit by the moonlight streaming through small windows. The building groaned with the sound of sleeping bodies. She saw Adaeze ahead, her long gown swaying as she moved, but she wasn't heading outside. Instead, she walked toward the old abandoned classroom block beside the hostel, a place students avoided because of rumors that it was haunted. Amara's heart pounded as she hid behind a wall, peeking. Adaeze entered the dark classroom. Through the broken window, Amara saw something that froze her blood. There were shadows inside, shapes of people, students, it seemed, sitting quietly on desks. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow, their mouths shut tight. Adaeze walked to the front of the class as if she was their teacher. In a calm voice, she said, "I am here again." The shadows stirred. Some of them whispered her name. Adaeze, Adaeze. Amara's knees went weak. She pressed her hand against her mouth to stop a scream. Who were these people? Why did they all look half dead? And why did they act like they had been waiting for her? Suddenly, Adaeze turned sharply, her eyes scanning the window. Her gaze locked on Amara's hiding place. "Amara," she called softly, her voice echoing like it was coming from two mouths at once. "Why are you following me?" Amara froze. Her legs refused to move. She wanted to run, but her body felt nailed to the ground. Adaeze smiled faintly, stepping closer to the window. "I told you, it is not safe to wander at night. You might see the ones who still remember me." Amara's teeth chattered. Who are they?" Adaeze tilted her head. "My classmates, the ones who never left this hostel." And then all the shadowy figures inside the classroom turned their heads at once to stare at Amara. Their eyes were empty, their faces were pale, and some of them were smiling. Amara screamed. Amara's scream tore through the silent night, echoing across the empty corridor. The pale figures inside the classroom did not move, but their eyes glowed faintly in the dark, fixed on her like hunters watching prey. Adaeze didn't flinch. She only stepped forward, her smile calm, almost tender. "Why are you afraid, Amara?" "You are my friend. They only want you to join us." Amara stumbled backward, shaking her head. "Join? Who?" "The ones who stayed," Adaeze whispered. "The hostel never lets go. I was the first. You are next." Amara's blood ran cold. She turned and ran down the corridor, her bare feet slapping the floor. Behind her, she heard soft footsteps, not rushed, but steady. Adaeze was following. The hostel felt endless. Every corner looked the same, every door locked, every shadow stretched like a hand reaching for her. Amara slammed the door and pressed her back against it, her whole body trembling. The room was dark except for the dim hostel bulb. She could still hear faint humming in the distance, but she dared not open the door again. She fell to her knees, tears running down her face. "God, please, please protect me. Whatever this is, Father, I cover myself with your blood. I shall not die here. Deliver me from evil," she whispered over and over, rocking back and forth. Her Bible was still in her bag. With shaky hands, she pulled it out, clutching it to her chest as if it was a shield. She prayed until her voice cracked, until exhaustion forced her to lie on the floor. At some point, sleep took her, though every shadow in the room seemed to lean over her. The sun was bright, but Amara's heart was still heavy. She walked straight to the hostel porter's office, her Bible still in her hand. "Sir," she said, her voice trembling, "please, who assigned me to room 34? And who is my roommate, Adaeze?" The porter looked up slowly, frowning. "Room 34? My daughter. That room has been locked for a year. Nobody is supposed to stay there. And Adaeze—" He paused, lowering his voice. "Adaeze died in that room last session." Amara felt the ground shift under her feet. "But, sir, she has been sleeping beside me." The porter's eyes widened. Then you are not sharing a room with the living. Amara's legs almost gave way. She grabbed the edge of the porter's desk for balance. Sir, please don't joke with me. I have been living with her. We talk, she laughs, she folds her clothes. How can she be dead? The porter sighed heavily, standing from his chair. My daughter, the hostel is old. Strange things have happened here. Last year, Adaeze was found lifeless on her bed in that same room. Her parents came, crying. After that, the school locked the room. No student was supposed to be put there again. Amara's lips trembled. Then how did I end up there? Who gave me the key? The porter shook his head. That's the mystery. I never gave anyone that key. It has been in my drawer since last year. Amara staggered back, fear gripping her chest. She realized she had been living with someone who wasn't alive. Her first thought was to run, pack her bags, and never step into that room again. But deep inside, another voice whispered, What if she follows you? That night, Amara knew she couldn't just walk away. She had to find out the truth about Adaeze's death, or the spirit would never let her go. Amara could not concentrate in lectures that day. Every time the lecturer spoke, her mind wandered back to Adaeze's pale face, her strange smiles, and the porter's words. Adaeze died in that room last year. By evening, she gathered courage and went to meet Kemi, her closest friend. Kemi, please. What exactly happened to Adaeze? Amara asked, her voice shaking. Kemi looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then she leaned closer. They said Adaeze was quiet, just like you described. Always kept to herself. One night, hostel girls heard her screaming, but by the time they rushed in, she was lying dead on her bed, her eyes wide open. Some people believe she was pressed by evil spirits. Others say she was part of a cult group, and they came to collect her soul. Nobody really knows. Amara felt her stomach tighten. So why do I still see her? Kemi's face grew pale. Because she has chosen you. Some spirits don't like to be alone. Maybe she wants a roommate forever. That night, Amara refused to go back to room 34. She slept on Kemi's floor, clutching her Bible. But deep inside, she knew she couldn't hide forever. If Adaeze really wanted her, she would come. Amara lasted only 2 nights on Kemi's floor. She was restless, jumpy, unable to sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard that soft voice. Amara, you are my roommate. You can't leave me, Kemi begged her to report to the hostel warden and demand a transfer. But Amara felt trapped. What if Adaeze followed her wherever she went? What if she was already marked? On the 3rd night, Amara decided to face her fear. She returned to room 34. The key turned stiffly in the lock, as if the door itself didn't want to open. Inside, the room was quiet, her bed neatly arranged. The other bed, Adaeze's bed, looked untouched, like nobody had ever slept there. Amara's hands shook as she opened her Bible. She placed it on the table, knelt down, and began to pray aloud. Minutes passed, then she heard it. The door creaked open. Adaeze walked in, pale, calm, smiling. Why did you leave me, Amara? Amara's voice cracked, but she kept praying. You are not my roommate. You are a spirit. You don't belong here. Adaeze's smile faded. This hostel took me, and now it will take you too. We will be together. The lights flickered. The air grew cold. Amara clutched her Bible tighter, shouting, The blood of Jesus! Adaeze screamed, covering her ears. Her body shook violently, then slowly began to fade, her form breaking like smoke in the wind. Her last words echoed, Roommates, forever. And then she was gone. By morning, the hostel authorities found Amara fainted on the floor, clutching her Bible. When she woke, she demanded to be moved out of room 34. The room was locked again, this time permanently. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment for more unique stories.